Hey guys, what's up? I'm here to give you guys my final recap and my final thoughts and my journey of Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin. I'm here to give you guys my final recap on Shingeki no Kyojin on chapter 139 and give you guys my overall thoughts. Like I said, this will be my final recap and my final overall thoughts. And maybe talk about my journey along the way, but we'll go in a certain order that seems fitting, so yeah. Let's just get this started. We have to it that Armin talks to Eren, unfortunately, and this time it's in a certain situation. We have to it Armin's like, I get that you did for the future that you saw with the Attack Titan's power, but did you really have to kick my butt that badly? Was kneeing me in the gut that important? And Eren tells Armin, I was so desperate to push you all away. Even I found myself wondering what I was doing. I just let the moment take over, really. I'm sorry. And Armin's like, yo, you should be saying that to Mikasa, not me. All that nonsense you spewed hurt her. You know that. And Eren's like, yeah, you have a point. And Armin's like, it was all to push us away from you and make us into heroes who saved humanity from extinction by hunting you down. Yeah, that's the plan. How could you not be seen as the saviors of every surviving member of society? You turned your backs on parody in spite of being island devils to stand on the side of humanity to the end. You probably become the most respected beings in the world. And Armin's like, so you want us to be like the Tiber family after the Great Titan War, right? We're supposed to protect parody from reprisal from humanity outside the walls. And Eren's like, they won't be able to retaliate immediately. The rumbling will kill at least 80% of humanity that they won't be able to wage war. And Armin's like, do you have to go this far for all of our sake? And Eren's like, come on, follow me. Let's talk as we walk about our founder Ymir. And we have to it that Eren and Armin grew up, They talked in the child forms and they end up growing up into a certain location, We get to see that Eren talks to Armin about this flaming water flowing like a river, And Eren asks Armin, like, how far did I get? You said that the power of the Titans continue to exist because Ymir has been obeying King Fritz for 2,000 years. Right. He burned her hometown, killed her parents, and pulled out her tongue. But even when she attained godlike power, she continued to obey him. And Armin's like, what was the purpose of that? And Eren's like, when we touched at the path, I felt something I couldn't believe it, but Ymir, the founder, loved Karl Fritz. Like, she literally loved that psychopathic murderer, And we have to it that Armin's like, are you kidding me? He said, no, I'm not. That's what bound her for over 2,000 years. I can't claim to understand the depths of Ymir's heart, but I knew she was in agony as she yearned for freedom. For 2,000 years, she sought someone who'd release her from the agony of love. Then someone appeared. It was Mikasa. And Armin's like, did you say Mikasa? And Eren's like, yeah, I did. So you weren't listening after all? And Armin's like, no, I was listening. What's the deal here? And we had to it. Eren's like, well, only Ymir knows that one. As for me, even I still don't know what Mikasa would do. The only thing I knew for sure was the result of Mikasa's choice. All of it was to arrive at that result. That's why I moved forward. I murdered 4/5 of society. I led you to kill each other on Paradis. I got all of you, my precious friends, wrapped up in this battle without even knowing if you'd survive it. And Armin's like, the future you saw in the medal ceremony, you must have been alone since then. It must have really hurt. And Eren tells Armin, my head's gotten all messed up. The Founder's power has made it so that there's no past or future. It all exists at once. So I had to do it. That day, that time, it wasn't Bertolt's time to die yet. And Eren's talking about the day they broke the walls, And Armin asks, what are you talking about? And we had to it that Eren actually led Dina, like he literally led Dina to where Eren and Mikasa is so the path will go to the way it is. Now, I know it sounds confusing, but when Bertolt broke the walls, Eren did not have Bertolt killed yet and had Dina go after Mikasa and Armin to lead to a certain place, or a certain timeline that's supposed to happen. And we had to it that Armin grabbed Eren's hands and says, let's go, you know? And then they go into the present selves of what they are, into the human forms, you know? Into an ocean. And Armin's like, so what were you thinking? About who? About Mikasa? Do you think she could forget about you and live a happy life with someone else just like you wanted? And Eren's like, well, who knows? But Armin gets really angry and punches Eren right in the jaw and says, excuse me, who knows? I don't remember ever forgiving you. What are you thinking disregarding Mikasa's love for you like that? A woman who always valued you over everything, even her own life. Do you really think you could tell her to forget about you and be done with it? She should be able to forget about the heartbreaker she loved and be happy at the very least. But who knows? Maybe she'll find someone good in no time and shrug it off. Is that it? And we have to it that Eren's like, no, I don't want that. Mikasa finding another man, I want her to think about me and no one else for the rest of my damn life. Even after I die, I want to be at the front of her mind for a while, 10 years at least. And Armin's like, so I can't believe I had to hear from someone like you that pathetic. And Eren's like, please don't repeat that to Mikasa. I want her to be happy, I really do, but damn it, I don't want to die. I want to be with Mikasa, with everyone, but I can't. And Armin's like, don't give up. We have to find another way. But Eren's like, no. I'm pretty sure none of them want to die either, but how could I ever be forgiven? And we have to it that Eren shows Armin like how he destroyed everything, you know? He even said, even if I didn't know that you stopped me in the end, I think I still would have flattened this world. I leveled almost every forest and I would have left the land covered in carrion on flattened insects a few days later. I wanted to leave every surface blank plain. And Armin asked the question, why though? And we have to it that Eren remembers something about what his father said, you know? Eren, that is your name. And Eren's like, I don't know why, but I want to do that. I had to. And he remembers his father saying, Eren, you are free. You are free, you know? And we had to it that Armin picks up a shell and Eren says, Armin, it's time. I'm erasing all your memories of this place. Next time we'll meet, we'll be trying to kill one another, but you'll probably remember again once it's all over. And Armin cries and thanks Eren like, you became a mass murderer for our sake. I promise I won't let this era go to waste, you hear me? He ends up hugging his friend one last time in this world that he's talking to him, and you know, and Eren's like, I don't know what happens after I die, but I know you can make it to the other side of the walls. Humanity will be saved by you, Armin. You know the irony and the symbolism of this conversation and words. Like, if you remember correctly, when Eren told Levi that Armin's gonna be the one to save humanity, and he just said that same thing right here on this chapter right here, you know? Many others around, you know, as the irony of symbolism is here. And ironically, this all happened, all of this happened during the time where Armin was on the ship with Annie and the others, you know? Where Annie asked him, did you heal up already? And we go back to present time right now where Falco's Titan form fell, and then Armin's back in human form, so does everyone else. Mikasa carries Eren's head right in her arms right now, and Armin can only cry in agony after what has been done. And even Mikasa asked Armin, you remember now too, don't you, when Eren came to visit us? And Armin's like, yeah, I heard the result of your choice. Then we get to see Jean, Connie, Gabby, and everyone else who returns the Titans back to human forms, you know? And Armin says, the result of your choice would make the power of the Titans vanish from the face of this world once and for all. Even right now, we have to it that Jean is like, now I remember, you filthy, stupid fool. How could you do that? Even Reiner feels really, really guilty seeing how Eren went that far, you know? Even Connie's like, Eren, he said my mom will go back to being human, you know? And Annie's like, he said for us to live long, but what the hell about you, you dumb suicidal idiot? Why would you do that? Even Pierre's like, yeah, I wish I could have talked to the idiot in a certain way. And, Annie ends up running to her father, hugging him, and Falco tries to look for Gabby, and we have to Levi on the rock right now, laying on the rock, and says, "Hey guys," as he sees the members of the Servant Corps and many others who died, especially his original Levi squad. He said, "Hey guys, you see all that? Guess this is the result of all the devoted hearts you put into, And they give Levi one last salute, saying like, I guess the Servant Corps mission is now complete. You're on your own now. As Levi can only continue to live on, As for Connie and John, they end up seeing Sasha, an image of Sasha putting her heart to her, telling them, "Well done, guys." And we had to it that Falco tries to help Gabby, but Gabby flipped him over, which is really hilarious. I'm like, what the hell? And Rhino sees his mother and says, "Mom, I don't have the armor titan no more." And she says, "That's great. I'm sorry for everything. This is all I ever needed. You are all I ever needed." And we had to it, and Mikasa tells Armin, "I need to go. If I stayed here, I doubt they'd give Eren a proper burial." And we have to it that Armin tells Mikasa, "You're right. Let him rest somewhere quiet." And we have to it, Mikasa decides to throw away her ODM gear and tells Armin Eren always liked to nap there, And Armin's like, "I think that's a good place, And we have to it that Muller and the others ends up having to and his army ends up pointing the guns to him. And Annie's father says, wait. Eren Yeager is dead. The power of the Titans has vanished. We are nothing more than people now." And Muller's like, "Can you prove it to me right now? Right here and now? If it's a blood test you want, no. Just here and now. Please, just prove it. I don't want to have to do this, but please prove it. That are you people or are you Titans?" And we had to it that Armin throws away his ODM gear and says, "If we did have the power of the Titans, wouldn't we be using it to resist you? But the fact that we continue to be powerless, even as you point your guns at us, it is the greatest possible proof of our humanity." And Muller asks Armin, "Who are you?" And Armin says, "I am Armor Arlet, an Eldian from the island of Paradis, the man who killed Eren Yeager, the attack titan, As Mikasa, we all know that she is the real one, but Armin decides to take the fall for it, As Mikasa carries Eren's head back to a certain location, and we get to see another picture, and that's Historia's baby, or child, And it takes a narration right now saying, 3 years have passed since the day known as the Battle of Heaven and Earth. Those who have survived after an unfathomable number of lives were taken still seem to be tormented by their unhealing scars. As the world suffers through this loss, their fears have come true. The nation of Elia has formed a so-called army controlled by the Jaegerists and now focus their efforts on building the military. Fearful of retaliation from what is left of humanity on the other side of the sea, the island yells out as one. If we win, we live. If we lose, we die. If you don't fight, we can't win. We can't win. Fight. This fight will not end until either Eldia or the world disappears. That is what Eren said, and he may be right. And we see Historia and other people right behind her as the narration continues, Even so, he chose to leave this world in our hands, this place we now live in. A world without Titans. As we see Armin, Reiner, Jean, Connie, and Pieck, along with Annie, listening to the letter that Armin read from Historia, Even Reiner's like, "I never get tired of Historia's beautiful handwriting. It smells really nice." And John's like, "Can you stop going after a married woman, you lustful creep?" And Pieck's like, "Hey, you seem awfully concerned about your hair looks, John." And even Connie's like, "Hey, trying to look good for someone?" He goes like, for all the girls who have opened a history textbook, that is, Don't you mean Field Guide to Horses or something? and even Reiner asks about that, about horses, and then freaking Jean's like, "It's a damn shame that you got a new lease on life, Reiner." And Annie asks Armin's like, "Hey, Armin, do you really think this is going to work?" We destroyed the walls. We betrayed the island. We killed Eren, a man revered by the people of Eldia, and we are the allied nations' ambassadors for peace talks. Even right now, Piek's like, I wouldn't be shocked if they sunk a ship right here and now. And Connie's like, believe in Historia. Her Majesty's first move was to protect Jean's relatives and my mom. I know she'll defend us too, that's for sure. And Annie's like, us weak little things, don't you think so? And Armin's like, well, Annie, conflict will never vanish. But when they see us all together like this, they will have to want to know. Then we get to see a scene of like Levi in a wheelchair with Falco or Gabby at his side and Oya Kapane being their escort, about our story. Why those who tried to kill one another for so long have appeared on parody to advocate for peace. They'll want to know what they saw, etc. Let's tell them everything as Armin goes with like Connie, Annie, Reiner, Jean, and Piek to Parody Island, As Armin ends up seeing a bird flying and a feather falling down as Armin catches it, Then we see Mikasa on the hill that she mentioned where Eren would be buried at, And Mikasa said, Eren, everyone will be coming to visit you soon. Aren't you very happy? And Mikasa remembers that time where she ran on the hill with Eren, saying, and even right now Mikasa cries so badly saying, I want to meet you again, Eren, again and again. And we see a bird picking up Mikasa's scarf and wrapping around her neck, and ends up flying off after finishing the job. And Mikasa can only stare up in the sky and said, thank you for wrapping the scarf around me, Eren. Then there's a message towards the end, and it says, to the readers of Attack on Titan, the world that did not exist until 2009 was made into words and pictures, given meaning, turned into a story printed in the first issue of Bisatsu Shonen magazine and serialized for 11 years and 7 months by Hajime Isayama's hands. By no means were they 11 years and 7 months of continued good news. The series was visited by troubles, sadness, and goodbyes. Even so, we believe that nothing is more valuable than people being able to share in emotions that cannot be put into words through a story. It makes us happy that we were able to feel that way with readers and partners by the way of Attack on Titan through the series though the series has come to an end. These memories are sure to always warm our hearts. Thank you for reading. Our battle is only getting started. The editorial department of Bisatsu Shonen magazine, written by Donkey Empire. So, if I were to really give you guys the overall recap without a lot of detail, Eren and Armin talk with there was a flashback of Eren and Armin talking to each other that all this led to this point, and Eren erased the memories of Armin, Mikasa, and everyone else about what's to come, etc. And then, of course, they all came back to them after they killed Eren, And Levi, everyone else are okay, everyone's back to human form and things and then we have to it that 3 years have passed, since after the Battle of Heaven and Earth, and Eldia and the rest of the world are still at odds with each other, and looks like to me conflict is not going to end, but we have to it that Annie, Armin, Piek, Reiner, Connie are the ones going to be going to Parody Island, while when we see Levi with Falco, Gabby, and Oya Kapane looking around or escorting themselves, and Armin tells Reiner, Jean, Piek, Annie, and Connie that they're going to be telling them everything, while Mikasa is on the island with Eren's graveyard and telling her that she wants to see him, but a bird wraps around the scarf around her and then she'll see it and then it flies off. And thanks Eren for wrapping the scarf around me, and that's the final chapter ending right there. Now, I could say a lot of people being very upset about this, but for me, I do feel sad, to see how it ended, but I guess it was to be expected because, yeah, I know I could be troubled by this, and I'm pretty sure everybody's troubled by this and don't like the idea of how this went. I could understand where they're coming from, and I think it started off with Eren having a lot of great power, if there's one thing for certain that if I remember correctly, that Eren could have taken away Armin, Reiner, and whoever has Titan powers. He could have taken them away or not be able to let them use it, but he gave them that choice to like use it against them, you know? I think that's the only thing that I kind of felt very worried about, you know? Because Eren had a lot of power. He was like, the moment he became the big founder Titan whatsoever, he was basically, like, if I had to say in simple words, God. He was literally God to control all those Titan powers, and if he wanted to, he could have, like, erased and just flattened everything to hell, you know, etc. But he decided not to take the powers away from Armin, Reiner, Pieck, and then Annie, along with, like, many others, you know, etc. So, yeah. Wow. I think that's the only thing that I felt troubled by, but I guess it is what it is, etc. So, yeah. Not to mention, Ymir. She was loved by Karl Fritz, and she wants to be released from that, and it's all thanks to Mikasa severing that thing, I think by killing Eren whatsoever, you know? I felt a little confused in the end, but I seem to get the idea. But whatever the case may be, before I get into my overall final thoughts of the entirety of Attack on Titan, the manga, I would like to talk about my journey that happened very, very long ago. Like, I started reading the freaking, like, manga on July 2016. Like, literally, I could remember that a long time ago. Like, I started reading the manga after, like, watching the first season of Attack on Titan. I would tell you the truth, I heard so many things about Attack on Titan back then, and I thought it was just overhyped, but later on, without realization, I thought it was really fun and slick, especially the music was always on high peak point. I remember, like, watching season 1, I remember, like, freaking, like, watching season 1, and I decided to, like, get on to the manga after that, because maybe I couldn't bear to wait anymore, you know? But, yeah. I can remember my journey with Attack on Titan, how Reiner and Berto were the ones that broke the walls. I can remember how ridiculous I was when I was reading it, thinking in my mind, are you serious, man? That's how it really started, man, you know? I mean, yeah. There were a lot of things that, like, that got into me, you know? I mean, like, yeah, it's pretty crazy how I'm still thinking about this right now, you know, and yeah. I know what I'm saying must be really confusing, but I'm just thinking about my journey right now because my final overall thoughts is coming soon, you know. I just want to talk about, like, how I started my journey with the Attack on Titan manga, you know. I started with the anime first, the first season, and then later on I decided to read the manga afterwards, and I didn't really start the recap of the Attack on Titan manga until, like, chapter 83. Like, literally, I started it's pretty crazy, and that was pretty nuts, right? To think that I started Attack on Titan on chapter 83 where, like, Levi had to make a choice to either save Armin or freaking, like, to save Armin or Irvin, you know? And then all this happened here and there, and then intensity increased up here and there where Eren became so serious and stern and become stoic and cold to everybody because he had to do what he had to do. It's all revealed here in the final chapter, you know? And yeah. So, yeah, all I know is I remember starting my manga chapter reading after watching this first season of Attack on Titan, you know, of the anime, and I thought it was really crazy and slick, you know, in a certain way. And now there's a lot I want to say about my journey, but there's not so much I really want to talk about right now because it's really sad right now. Especially the way how it ended, and I'm going to have to accept that ending, you know? Etc. So, my final overall thoughts, you know? I gotta say, from the very beginning until the end, you know, it was pretty much of a nice ride. I think the only thing I felt kind of conflicted about is Eren having a lot of power. You know, that time when it came to the scene where Armin and the others asked why you had the ability to actually stop us, why didn't you? And Eren's like, he gave him a choice to go after him, you know? He pretty much set everything in motion just because they attacked Titan's future inheritance of freedom, you know? And I think that's what Ymir wanted from the start, is that she wanted freedom. Be severed from her love from Karl Fritz, the guy who ruined her and who ruined her life for a very long time, and it was pretty devastating and sad the way I think about it, etc. Man. I'm just trying to think about what to say right now, I mean, like, of the overall story of the Attack on Titan, I really liked it. I guess the way how it ended, the ending of it, many people did not like it, but for me, I think it was like satisfactory for me. It was, if this was meant to happen for Eren, if he was really meant to die, that's really sad like hell, man. I mean, like, it was pretty intense and crazy to think Eren went this far, I mean, the guy acted cold, became a total ugly guy, and then, as many people call it, he became that code, that Gios ending, Lelouch ending, where he became the bad guy and says, now you guys need to kill me to try to save everybody, but I killed 80% of the population, of humanity, and I know you, Armin, can make things right, that kind of thing. And yeah, the only thing that I think I had the issue of is Eren having a lot of power when it came to the last few chapters where he began the rumbling, I think that's the only thing I had trouble with, when it came to that. Because, like, let's all be honest, if Eren really wanted to, he could have, like, flattened the entire world. He could have destroyed everything right away outside of Paradise Island. That much is considered, Because he was given a lot of power right there. I mean, if he really wanted to, he would stop the Titan powers from Armin and everyone else so they wouldn't be able to take him on, etc. And, yeah. When it came to, like, everything else, I think it was really nice, All I know is, like, at the very beginning of Attack on Titan, it was really intense, because, like, how am I supposed to say it? Like, it's like a lot of lives were lost, and you can't let this go to waste, and how much, like, gambling it costed them for everything, And I thought it was really slick to see how it went that way, And, of course, like, I guess Eren dying, was really sad. It kind of got me upset, but it was, I guess it was just necessary because he's like saying he wants to end the cycle of conflict and hate, but that's going to keep going, and yeah. I'm sorry for going really confusing right now. I'm really sorry for being very pathetic and cringe right now, for, like, talking things back and forth and maybe being a little disorganized because I still can't help about the ending right now, how it went, etc. I gotta say, though, I did have my fair share of big fun with Attack on Titan from the very beginning, I mean, like, when starting the manga, just looking at the manga, reading each chapter, talking about it, and then giving small analysis about how this went, and, having Eren to die at the very end, after what he's become, I guess it was like a conclusion for him, because he wanted to be free from this nightmare, and I guess he's gotten that freedom, but he didn't want to die either because, he wanted to stay with Mikasa and everyone else, but I guess that wouldn't be able to happen because, things had to go a certain way that it had to, and really sucks that he died, but it was necessary to the very end. There was no way around it, So, yeah. I'm so sorry that this video had to be so long. I mean, like, and this is my final recap, and I'm talking about my journey, and I'm being so disorganized about my final overall thoughts right now, because the way how it went. I could see a lot of community being very upset about this, about Eren dead and then how it went about, but hey, man, Mikasa cut off his head, and how else is he gonna survive that? It's not like anything else. Not to mention, I don't know. It sucks that Eren's story had to end right there, but I guess I guess it might be the right appropriate for him because now he's free, you know. He doesn't have to suffer anymore. And I think that ending right there about him being the bird, you know, possibly the bird, him flying away, he finally has his freedom, you know, wings of liberty, which is some kind of which is a nice symbolism if I think about it. But yeah. So yeah, what would be my overall thoughts of this entire manga in general? For me, I think if I had to give it a numeric score, I say an 8 out of 10, you know, from the beginning to the end. I think it's just like when it came to the rumbling, you know, is when like it started to be a little like worrisome, you know, etc. Maybe because that time Eren had a lot of power, you know. He had a lot of power. He could have done this, he could have done that, he could have done a lot of other crazy things and would have flattened everything else to hell, but he did not do that to Reiner and the others because he's giving them a choice like, just kill me, man. Just kill me if you want to save everybody. But 80% of humanity will be gone, and you'll have to work from there how to like make things right or work things out, you know? Yeah. So, guess this ends with my final recap and my final overall thoughts of Attack on Titan, you know. I mean, like, I'm sorry for this video being very long and me doing a long recap and talking about my journey and being very disorganized about my final thoughts and overall feelings of Attack on Titan manga, but I had a lot of fun. It had a lot of connections to how we humans are, you know, how we find entertainment in people's misery, you know, in certain characters of fiction or in certain life that deserves it, that are deserving of it, and certain powers of freaking Levi, you know, that guy is gonna have to live with the rest of his life in the wheelchair or whatever is happening to him, you know. Hopefully he'll still be okay, but we'll have to see. But yeah, the power of the Titans within him is gone, so I guess he's like that for sure. But yeah. As for everyone else, you know, yeah. So, one thing of a sure is like I could say this: find your way home. You are free, you know. So that's about it, people. I'm sorry for this video being long. I just had to get it out of my chest, and it's finally over. So until then, I'll see you guys next time, and see you guys for the other final part of Attack on Titan final season, you know. It's been a wild ride, guys, you know. So until then, yeah. Started my manga recaps in 2016, and you know, yeah. I know I said it must be very confusing, you know. Like I said, I did start the manga about this. I did start the manga like in many years after the first season of Attack on Titan, you know, so yeah. Sorry for being very confusing and being very disorganized, you know. My journey's come to an end. Like I said, find your way home. You're free. So, until then, people, that's about it. It's finally over until the next part of Attack on Titan anime final season comes out. And the journey's really over, you know. So, until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day. And I hope you guys had a much enjoyment journey of Attack on Titan as much as I did, even though it has a conclusion that you did not like. But for me, I guess it was satisfactory and it was appropriate for that time for Eren, you know. So like I said, and again, Eren, find your way home, brother. You are free. Peace out. Bye-bye. Free at last. Free at last. Thank goodness. Free at last. Bye.